Dear Father, I stand today, just want to say thank you, Lord, for everything that you've done for me. Somebody's gonna need you, Lord. Somebody's gonna need a friend. Well, I stopped by to let you know that I know somebody that'll stick closer than a mother, somebody that'll stick closer than even a father. Well, friend, I'm talking about Jesus Christ. Yeah. Thank you, Lord. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Jesus. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. 'Cause I know Jesus will never let you down. No. Whenever you need him, I know. Today, that Jesus will be there every day, 'cause I know Jesus, he'll never let you down. Whenever you need the Lord, I know never let you down. No, 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 no. You need the Lord, he'll never let you down. Wait a minute, y'all. Yeah. Don't doubt the Lord. No, no. Don't doubt the Lord, whatever you do. Don't doubt the Lord. No, no. The Lord will always see you through. Just let me tell you. Just tell you what he done for me. Know what he did? He lifted me. He lifted me. He lifted me. He lifted me. He lifted. He lifted. He lifted me. 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 He lifted. He lifted. He lifted me.
I have a family member here, you know, my family, Rhino, he over there, he, you know, coming to do the show to support and everything, and he's doing a lot of positive things in the neighborhood. So we're gonna let him get started, but first we want to thank God. We want to thank Roscoe's Media Center. We want to thank Roscoe Chicken and Waffle, and we just want to thank everybody behind the scenes that make it happen. Like Kevin, my tech guy. You know, he be making it happen. He helped me out. You know, he just helps me out a lot. He's a hype guy. He be like, yo, no, do it like this, do it like. But he be helping me, right? Crystal, Tino, our leaders that had the vision for the talk show, and just everybody that makes this happen. we just want to thank everybody. So we're going to talk to my family right now, Ronald. So you want to introduce yourself and, say what you do, because I know I've been looking at some things, but I'm going to let you introduce yourself and talk about, the job that you're doing in the community right now.
Okay. My name is Ronald Chapman. In the streets, I'm known as Mad Ronald. I'm a community intervention worker. I work for the Los Angeles Mayor's Office of Gang Reduction and Youth Development, employed through my agency, which is Volunteers of America. I'm what you would call an OG, actually, in the streets of L.A., but at the same time, I'm also an interventionist. I'm one that has been involved in the gang life for more than 40 years. But what I've done is that, I've done a lot of time, 5 times to the penitentiary, and, been through the drug life, been through the violence, been through the madness and all this here. Now I've reclaimed my life and have been able to take that recognition and respect and use it in a positive manner.
Wow, yes, that's what I'm talking about. Did you guys hear that? He said you took it back and you redirected it in a positive way. So Ronald, I've been watching you on Facebook, and you've been doing a lot of positive things. So tell us a little bit about this. It's called the Pop Lock Peace Fest.
Yeah, that was last week. That was February the 20th. It was the first annual West Adams Pop Lock Peace Fest and Job Fair. And what it was that I'm a member of a nonprofit organization called Second Call. And I collaborated with one of my friends, actually one of my homeboys, Skip Townsend, and he was telling me that he was having a job fair, but we had a conversation about the turnout of the job fair and not being a lot of people there. Mm-hmm. So then I had another friend that contacted me, just so happened, and he's one of the Pop Lockers guys that be in Hollywood and stuff, and he's a part of that community. And he was telling me he wanted to come to the community, and he wanted to do a dance situation, like a workshop or something like that there, awesome. Just to bring, a sense of constructiveness back to the community. Because, pop locking and robot and all that comes out of the hood.
Exactly.
So he was coming back to the hood with it, and this is his sense of intervention and his sense of giving back. So I collaborated and brought both of them together. Then I had a couple more people out of the neighborhood get with me, and we collaborated and got a game truck, and we fed maybe about 250, 300 people that day.
Awesome.
Yeah, we just had a wonderful time. Everybody was able to be there. People were able to bring their parents, their kids, and there was no drama or nothing. For us to be able to come together and not have any dramatics, and that's just a wonderful thing within itself.
I love that. That is so awesome, and I'm just so proud that that we're family. And I see you and I'm watching you on Facebook, because I think that is so important that that you've been through it. And now you turned it around and you making it into a positive, but you giving back to the neighborhood.
Yeah.
You giving back. So maybe back then, maybe you took from the neighborhood.
Right.
But now you giving back to the neighborhood, and not only that, you're influencing young people.
Right.
Young people to go down this road, because this road, I've been down that road and it really ain't all that. Come down this road right here, the peaceful road, right?
Exactly. Well, the thing about it all is that something I've learned. I've been through the situation of being in the street. I've been through getting hurt and hurting people. I've been through destruction. I've been through not even knowing who I was. Because if I knew who I was, I wouldn't have been doing the things I was doing. But at the same time, what I come up with at the end of that road was that I understand that I owe a debt of service. And that debt of service is something that a lot of people owe but don't realize, because we took a lot. Wow. We take into consideration, you think about the drugs. Now, cocaine hit in the 80s. Now, this was a government tactic that they inflicted upon us.
Talk about
but
it,
we fell prey to this. That's like they talk about Nancy Reagan just dying, right? Mm-hmm. And they celebrating her death, but they're not talking about our husband flooded the ghettos with cocaine. They're not talking about Oliver North, and they're not talking about George Bush, the head of the CIA. They're not talking about when they Danilo Blandone were giving Freeway Rick all that dope, and he was a CIA operative that was paid, right? But at the same time, we were the victims of this here. I was incarcerated about maybe on 3 different situations where I was convicted. And I was a victim of the war on drugs, actually, because of the fact that what they did then, they took away the resources that we had in our community. They took away the jobs. Remember being young, we had CETA programs.
Yeah.
We had all kind of different resources that provided us with things to where we could come up and be productive.
Right.
They took that. But when they took that, then all of a sudden they flooded us with cocaine. See? They showed us movies like Scarface. The AK-47 came in, we looked at that as if that was the thing to do. You know, we looked at the drugs like that was the thing to do, but then at the same time, we were all blinded by this because we got away from being communities and we took on a sense of self and we became selfish. So within that, what I've learned is that from within living that life and all this here, I look at my community and I look at it as a wasteland. So looking at it for what it is, I have to take it as a sense of I owe a debt of service to that community. I owe the people there that much because I got kids. And for me to want the best for my kids, right?
Yeah.
I got to want the best for everybody else's kids. I can't wish the best for my kids and wish not for the best for your kids because they're all black kids.
I'm over here getting chills right now, Ronald. 'Cause, man, I'm telling you, like, you know, I know we done been at family gatherings together before, but you pretty deep over there, right? You deep with it, right? But you know what? That's what we need. And that's what our young people, older people, that's what they need to hear, exactly what you're saying, because you preaching. I mean, and you know, see, that's the whole thing that I love about life. It's not about a religion or nothing like that. It's about a relationship, and you recognizing the fact that you owe a debt, and you're doing it, you're paying it, and you're paving the way for other people not to do what you did, you know, in the way that you did, because you didn't know who you were at the time.
Right.
And so you helping other young kids realize who they are.
Right.
Kings and queens, right?
Exactly.
Kings and kings, and we can do anything.
Right, exactly.
We can do. I like how you said all that, man. So yeah, talk a little bit more about what you do, because you go to different neighborhoods and you check on different violent events.
What I am is I'm not a first responder, but I am a service provider in the community. I assist, like say coming back into society, reentry. I would assist someone with reentry services, like getting jobs, training to work, let's say family counseling for whatever it takes. Because a lot of times we come out of the institutions and we are not ready to be parents because we've been living in a society, in a system where we've been isolated and by ourselves for so long that we practically forgot how to be human. Because think about living in a cage for so long. If a dog will forget how to be a dog if you put him in a cage too long because he forgot how to be free. And so the thing about it is that when we ourselves, when we come like out of these institutions, sometimes we need the assistance, mental health.
Right.
Sometimes we might need whatever rehabilitation services are needed because we might need training to go to work because we think we're able to go to work, but somebody step on your shoe at work and you're ready to kill them.
Talk about it.
You know, so I assist with things like that. Also, in my community, I work West Adams. And if there's a shooting down there, then I'm an incident responder. I have to go out to the scene. I have to go out and I got to find out exactly what happened from the crowd. I got to somewhat get a crime scene report from the police department. I got to reach out to the family. I got to provide them with certain levels of services like victims of crime, maybe grief counseling. I mean, I'm at the hospitals. I'm on the crime scenes. I'm everywhere, you know. And I mean, like I say, that all goes back to that debt of service. You know, fortunately, it's a job for me. I get paid for this. But by the same token, you know, it's something that I was doing before I had a job. You know, it was something that somebody recognized me doing, and they put me in position. Yeah. Well, what it was that my homeboy Skip Townsend, he actually called me and told me to call these people, that these people was going to give me a job. I looked at him like, who going to give me a job? I had a job already. You know, I'm a truck driver at night. Right. But at the same time, he's like, they're going to give you a job. I'm like, who's going to give me a job? They're going to just give me a job because I'm having a phone call with them. I'm talking to him. Wow. He said, look, man, so when I started talking to him and I started explaining to them my history of intervention, and I explained to them that I was trained by Khalid and Naeem Shaw through Stop the Violence, Increase the Peace Foundation in 2000. And this is how long I've been involved in all the different situations of gang mediation and things like that there, you know what I mean? They was like, well, you are what we need. Because we were having a conversation. We started talking about our communities. And I told them about my community. And I told them, you know, like me of West Adams, I'm out of the 20s. And I told them that in the 20s, that there had not been a shooting at that time since 2009. Okay. And I explained to them that I was at the table negotiating this understanding in 2009 to the extent to where, you know, we got to understand, we got to talking. And I was explaining, you don't have a statistic. You can have a statistic on how many people are killed, but there's never a statistic on how many lives were saved. So you know what I mean? I was explaining that to them. So, you know, the people were like, you know, they were honored to take me on board. And in reality, you know what I mean, it's really cool because I get full benefits and everything. I've never had medical, dental, and vision. You know what I mean? I sit back right now and I'm thankful, you know what I'm saying, just to be able to wake up in the morning and go to work and just be able to do what I do because I work with the people that I love to work with.
Man, family, that is so. You know what? I like what you're saying. But guess what, Ronald? You said that you owe a debt to society. But I think when they gave you a job, I think that society owe a debt to some of our neighborhoods too.
Yes, they do.
You know what I'm saying? Because just like you said, now you're getting medical, dental, and you're getting paid to do something that you had a passion for anyway.
Right.
I feel like society owes our neighborhoods a debt also.
Well, you got to take into consideration the government is accountable. The government is never held accountable. We look at the drugs now. Think about the old saying, what they say: we do not manufacture AK-47s in our neighborhoods. Cocaine is not grown in Los Angeles. That's a foreign drug that has to come in here from overseas, and it has to be flown. It has to be brought in by boat. It has to pass through customs somehow. We have airspace that would shoot down an enemy plane. If let us say if ISIS, right? If ISIS tried to fly a plane into the United States full of bombs or whatever to try to commit a terrorist act, right? They would blow that plane up 1,000 miles within our airspace before it even got to land, right? But you know that the dope man gets his shipment on time every day? Ain't that funny to think about? You ever think about that?
It's real deep.
I mean, when we take into consideration that the government owes us, because I mean, like me myself.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, they owe a debt back to our neighborhood.
I always consider myself to be a disadvantaged minority for a long time because of the fact that being incarcerated, that I felt that I lacked a lot of skills, and socially, I was kind of missing some skills socially because I've been incarcerated so much, right? But then I came to a realization that I can't blame society because sometimes I chose to do some things that I chose to do. You know, when I had options, you know, I could have went to McDonald's. I probably would have been a manager by now. But I wouldn't have spent all those years in prison. But by the same token, though, we must look at society and take into consideration that these drugs come in here. All these countries that they've invaded, think about Afghanistan, right?
Yeah.
That's the #1 supplier of heroin. In Afghanistan, the heroin supply has gone up since they've invaded Afghanistan. See, we look at these people like Noriega. When they went after Noriega, Noriega was providing cocaine. You see what I'm saying? We look at all these different people, but these people were once allies to the United States of America. These people all had treaties and understandings with this country. So we think we're on the bottom of this. See, we're on the bottom of it. We catch the effects. We're like in a fishbowl. When people are dropping, you know how you feed the fish and you drop the food in and the fish catch it at the bottom? That's where we're at in this here. Because we are the victims of this. In reality, I don't care if you're selling it, I don't care if you smoke it, I don't care what you do. Because I sold it for a long time. When I sold drugs, and I was explaining to people that when I sold drugs, I've never been addicted to drugs. But I was addicted to drug money. See, my lifestyle, I was addicted to getting that money. I love making $2,000-$3,000 a day, $4,000 a day. You know what I mean? And I couldn't live without it. I thought I would drop dead if I didn't make money like that every day. But at the same time, I had to take into consideration, look around at the damage that I was doing to the people. Because also I've met people that were going through things. And I had conscience. I had to deal with my conscience. I had clients that had maybe, and I don't call them customers, crackheads, they call them clients, the people I dealt with because I knew them. I got to know them. And I came to understand some things dealing with people that sometimes I see people when, look, here we go, medication things like we look at television and they sell all these different medications now, right? I will see people that would want to buy drugs from me and they tell me, well, I have cancer. I'm going through some stuff, you know what I mean? Then I met people that had AIDS and say, hey, you know, this is what I do, you know what I mean? This is what eases my pain. I meet these people going through so many different things that I had to take into consideration sometimes, am I hurting them or am I healing them? I had to really take that into consideration because I got to take into consideration on a non-medicated basis. What would I be doing to these people? How would they feel? Sometimes you just have to look up and take into consideration that the world is what it is. And sometimes the people are just dealt the hand that they're dealt. But like I said before, you know, there is no wrong or right because the government put it here. See, there was no. If you ever take into consideration that the drug situation was a preconceived idea.
Yes, exactly. Until it reached their houses, right?
Until it reached their houses.
When it started reaching their houses, then it's a war on drugs, right?
Right.
Yeah,
but I'm
that type of stuff.
I'm gonna show you something that's funny, right? And this is a really funny thing, right? And I always tell people this here. When I first saw a triple beam scale,
okay,
I had no problem using it, understood it, and everything.
Wow.
And I'm gonna show you what was funny about that. I learned how to use a triple beam scale somewhere like the 2nd or 3rd grade, because there was this thing where they talked about we were gonna go to the metric system, and they started using things. We were in school using stuff like this here.
Yeah.
We were using. You remember them days when they talked about the metric system?
Yeah.
They talked about liters and all this here grams and all this type of stuff here, right? So now we never switched over to this. But ain't it funny all of a sudden that when cocaine came in, it was measured like this? It was measured in grams, and and it's so funny because of the fact that I looked at this and I said to myself, it's like I was set up for this. You know what I mean? Being part of a generation that was practically under attack because of the fact that we look at the war on drugs was that era of the 1980s, up to maybe practically 2000.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because then somewhere through here we started talking about rehabilitation.
See, when it started hitting their homes, that's when war on drugs, just say no, all these different phrases come up. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And see, now it's like, now it's not good, okay? But it was a good thing when it was just being dropped in our neighborhoods, though.
Yeah.
It was a good thing for them, they thought. Mm-hmm. But see, when like the Bible even says, when you dig one pit, you may as well dig two.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So they was digging a pit for themselves and they didn't know it, and then it hit their homes, And so now everybody needs to be rehabilitated, and just recognize who they are. Like you said, you didn't know who you were at the time.
Exactly.
And now you know who you are, and you're doing better. And you're doing better for the neighborhood, because I see people on Facebook and they be congratulating you and everything for doing peaceful things and good in the neighborhood. And I think it's fitting.
Yeah,
I think it's so good that you're getting paid to do something, because like you said, you owe the debt, they owe the debt back to you too.
Yeah. Well, the thing about it is this good is that I get the opportunity to actually go back and deal with those people that are just like me.
See,
I deal
that's
with
what
the
I'm
people
talking
that's in the
about.
streets, still in the same corners that I was on. I see the young guys coming out the house, and they think that they're the first people to ever go through it. Sometimes I sit down with them and have to explain to them, this is old, this is recycled.
It's real old.
I got to explain to them that this is some stuff right here that you guys, I can tell you where you're going. If you want to know, all you gotta do is ask me. I can tell you what's up the road. I can tell you what's there. I've been there. I can tell you the old saying when we was in the neighborhood selling drugs, it was old saying, what you doing? I'm sitting there waiting on the police. Because the episode always plays out in the backseat of a police car. So you know what I mean? It's crazy. You know what I mean? But see, people don't realize that our government plays such a role that it's crazy, and it's systematic.
Right.
Because, even though we talk about prejudice and all this other stuff and about how it doesn't exist, it does exist.
It do.
Because systematically, you look at how the drugs did plague us, like you just said a second ago. When it hit their doorstep, it was a big deal.
Yeah.
But the funny thing, I'm gonna tell you something else about that that's really interesting, right? And this is just something I believe, and I'm pretty sure, living in Los Angeles, you know this, that the war on drugs was one thing, but I believe that was a big smokescreen for them smuggling guns into the city and struggling into the country. Because think about this, remember when the guys, I say social groups, I say the urban subculture rather than say gang.
Okay.
But at that time, they had little guns. I remember going to parties when if somebody had a 22, they was the talk for the next 6 months, right?
For the next 6 months, man, Ronald, look, Becky, because we still grew up in the same neighborhood, because I remember when your dad had that house over there and then on Dog, yes. And then we was over there on Van Buren, right?
Yes, I remember.
Yeah, so I remember going to parties back in the days, and like you said, if they shoot at a party with a 22, it'll be the talk for the next 6 months.
Talk for the town for the next 6 months. But see, the thing with it is that if you take into consideration now, right, with drugs, it provided a greater economy for the streets. So now what you got is you got people out there buying crates full of military arsenalry. They got guys that have AK-47s, and you look at these guns right now, and I'm gonna show you the funny thing about this here, right? If we look at like some Scarface, and Scarface glamorized this drug trade and it brought it up to be so big in our minds that everybody wanted to be this guy. Everybody wanted to be Tony Montana. But the funny thing about it to take into consideration is that, right, the big thing about him to understand was the guns. It wasn't so much of the drugs. 'Cause, see, 20 years from now, take this into consideration. 20 years from now, there'll be a brand new drug, but the AK-47 will seem like it's brand new. And they'll still be pushing them in our neighborhoods.
Wow.
You know what I mean? The government acts like they don't know, but you just think these weapons come in here. The AK-47 is a Russian assault rifle. You know, Russia's a long way from Los Angeles.
Long way.
So you
But
consider.
they'll find a way to get it here, though, right?
Well, remember what I just said about
Always.
the dope man? You know what I mean? I guarantee you, ISIS can't get a boat nowhere near here.
And I like what you
man's here right
said, Ronald, about Scarface, because when I tell you, they did like these shows called Cribs and the shows, right? Every person had what is that in their house? The Scarface thing.
That painting.
Yeah,
Yes.
and if you wasn't hip to it or whatever, you didn't have Scarface. If you had Scarface, then you was like supposed to be like on it or whatever.
Right.
But then Scarface, it glorified like drugs.
Yes.
It glorified the guns.
Right.
It glorified the just everything, just being like power
Right.
and money and stuff.
Right.
And it glamorized it and it made it good. And they made a lot of money off of that movie.
Right.
From our money, from our pockets, right?
Exactly right.
From our pockets, not just from the movie, but from the book. Because there's a book out, right?
I think so. There's a book.
It's a book. They made it from the book. They made it from the movie. They made it from all those paintings, right?
Right.
They made it from and they make it exist for a long time. Because like I said, when they show these, lifestyles of the rich and famous,
I remember that.
they will have a picture of Tony Montana, Scarface, in their house.
Right.
And it's deep. That is really, really deep.
Well, I'm gonna tell you a funny thing about that. That was a remake that they showed us because the original one wasn't like that.
I did see. I
1932
remember it was
made
original.
George Raft starred in the original one,
Right.
and it wasn't nothing like that. They remade it and remodified it and made it and changed the whole storyline. So you see what I'm saying?
And
they
made
changed
it
the
fit the
storyline to
neighborhoods.
captivate the minds of the people that were watching it. You know, see what they made it seem like he was living the American dream.
Oh, and I'm not even gonna lie. I'm just sit here and be real. I watched that movie so many times, and I love that movie, right?
It's a good movie. Don't get me wrong.
It is. It's very good entertaining, right? I'm gonna say it's good entertaining.
Yes,
but
it's
yeah,
entertaining.
It's good entertaining. But I did just like a lot of our shows, hip hop shows today. They're good entertaining.
Yes.
And I ain't gonna lie. I watch some of them. I keep up with it, right? But the message is not.
Right.
The message is not.
You got to read.
The message is against
the subtext of the subtext of it. There's
Talk
a
about
subliminal because we ourselves we walk away with a certain state of mind. I'm gonna give you a great example of that. Scarface was like being young, going downtown Los Angeles, watching the karate movies.
Oh.
Everybody want to come back with karate gis and they want to kick
Oh my
high
God.
and they want to fight and they want to do all this here because everybody wanted to
Man.
be Bruce Lee. When Scarface came out, they just took the same analogy and they just took it and they refocused it and redirected and projected it another way.
See, Ronald, you talk about it, boy. That is too funny because I remember catching a bus downtown
talking about?
to watch Bruce Lee Enter the Dragon and all those movies.
On Broadway.
On Broadway, right?
Four
Right by
big
Clifton's.
movies. 4 big movies for $1.
Remember that Clifton downtown that everybody
do.
used to go to? We
Yes,
go
I
to
do.
the movies, go to Clifton's. And
Yeah,
oh,
I
my
do.
God. Me and my brothers, we used to always catch the bus downtown.
You know what
and
I'm
we
talking
seen
about.
every karate movie
Right.
that there was to see.
But you remember the state of mind of the people. And
See?
everybody wanted to do karate, right?
Everybody wanted to do karate. 'Cause
Everybody.
back in our neighborhood, we did have a couple of people in that neighborhood that knew karate for real.
Exactly,
That really
right.
took up karate, right?
Right.
I forgot a couple of the guys' name, but it was a couple of the guys in the neighborhood. They really knew karate though.
Right. But see, just think about it. Take that and switch that over to Scarface, right?
See,
And then you look at Scarface influenced us the same way, right?
The
and
same
there were a couple
way.
guys in the neighborhood that were really drug dealers.
yeah, and they want to be big like
You
Tony
see-
Montana,
yeah,
right?
But you see the analogy how you just said a second ago? There were a couple guys that really knew karate.
Yeah, that really
Watching
went
these
and took
movies
it
and all
up.
this, here, right? Took it up
Yeah.
and everything. The same thing applied to when Scarface hit us when they came with the cocaine. Because ain't it funny that Scarface came at the same time?
Wow.
We had never even seen that much cocaine in our lives. Now we
See?
suddenly started living. We thought that was the American dream.
We thought that was American Dream.
Yeah, but then it came out to be a big nightmare.
did a lot of people, I don't think they even focused on the end of the movie, right? Where he actually got shot.
Right.
They focus on the lifestyle. He big. Everybody loved him. He was the man. They didn't focus on the part where he started using his own supply.
Right.
They didn't focus on the part where he got shot up.
Right.
You know, although he was like invincible because you know he got shot by 100 times before he died, right?
Right.
So they didn't focus on none of that. They just focused on the part where he was just like, and that's what it was meant to do. It did what it was meant to do, right?
Yes, that was very analytical right there of you because of the fact that that's the truth. See, and a lot of people, the old saying is you saw Scarface, but you didn't see the end of the movie.
See?
Everybody want to be Scarface, but they don't realize he dies in the end.
Thank you. That's the part.
Exactly. I mean, like I say, it's just like rap music. You know what I mean? I listen to rap music, but I listen to rap music from a certain perspective because of the fact some things I don't listen to. Some things you know what I mean? I like rap, but I like rap with a storyline, with a message. I like rap when people are saying something. You know, don't get me wrong. I do like some of the rap that they make today, but I ain't crazy about it about a lot of it either because now they just saying stuff. But
they just saying
if you look at the conditions of rap music and the people now, we got our young people now. They want to drink what's the stuff they call lean. They want to pop mollies. They want to do all this here, but they want to do this because the rappers are talking about doing it.
Yeah, and now it's a syrup.
Yeah, scissor, all that there. You hear about all that
just
there.
all this stuff, right?
But this is the key. Rap artists don't realize the power they have. But I understand that because that's like I'm gonna share something with you. That's the same way I say I didn't know myself.
Right.
I didn't know my power.
Wow.
And see, I understand my power now because of the fact that I can understand influencing people.
Wow.
I understand the ability and the capability to shape a person's thoughts and for people to understand and to try to take on what I'm giving them. Because sometimes it's simple. Some people don't have any direction, so they'll take any direction.
Wow, that is real deep. Wait a minute. They don't have any direction, so they'll take any direction.
In other words,
like
some guys are walking around or spinning like tops. They're just walking in circles. You can tell them, hey, go that way. And they'll turn around and walk in that direction.
Wow.
You know, you can tell a guy, hey, here, I'm going to give you this gun. Go fire it off into that crowd. And they'll do it. You can tell that guy, here, man, I'm going to give you some, I'm going to send you to the college. And I want you to talk to these people, and they're going to enroll you in these classes, and you're going to work on getting a degree or something. And they'll do that. Some people have no directions, so they'll follow any directions. See,
that's like if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything.
Right. And see, it's very important. Our young people now, the messages that they hear, they have to be constructive, but they have to come from the right people. Because if they're like me in the streets, I talk to people.
Right.
And now when I'm talking to people, when I'm talking, they see me. They say, okay, I'm Mad Ronald for Rolling 20s. That's who I am to them.
Yeah.
But the information that I have to give them is something to give them to make them great in the world.
Make them great.
See, and then they got to understand that greatness is not one big feat. It's a bunch of little successes that tie together. Because throughout life, a person will do things, and you'll always look at the things they're doing and say, dang, he did this, he did that, he did this, he did that. Everything he did was good. And they say, how did this person do all of this stuff and he was good at everything he did? It was just the fact that he was willing to take the leap of faith. And he was willing to jump out there and just do it, regardless of what other people thought. When I first got into gang intervention, it was something that people looked at, and I'm in the hood. I never left the neighborhood. I'm out here with the gang members. I'm out here with the drug dealers. I'm out here with the dudes with the guns. But I go into intervention. I'm into intervention. But where I'm at in the world is that I had some friends that came. These guys I didn't even know back then. They came and they were into this, and they came and they was in the community and they was talking to some people. We hanging out in the complex on 27th St. Andrew. We smoking weed, we gambling, we just doing what we do, drinking. Yeah. So, but at the same time, I was a student at Los Angeles City College. I was a philosophy major.
Okay.
So they talking to them, and they say, well, ain't nobody over here, involved in none of this, interested in none of this, and this and this and this. They looked at me and said, this is the guy you need to talk to right here. At the point in time, I didn't realize the conversation was about me because I'm somewhere doing something else.
Yeah.
When the guys approached me and started talking to me, and the things I started saying back to them, they looked at me and they were amazed because of the fact that they took me not to be so intelligent. But I always tell them, the thing I always tell
underestimated
people.
You.
Underestimated me. But I always sell myself as a ghetto intellectual. So
Ghetto
I'm
intellectual.
talking
Okay.
to them, and they're looking at me, and they're amazed by what I'm saying because of the
Yeah.
fact that they don't realize I didn't just wake up in the morning and walk out on this corner. I came out of a college classroom.
Talk about that.
I just happened to just happened to be where I'm comfortable at. This is my
See?
comfort zone.
See?
So as I'm here talking to them, I'm doing my thing, but they got me involved in intervention. They took me. I actually ended up being trained at Stop the Violence, Increase the Peace Foundation. And the thing was interesting back then. This is 2000. The gang war is still going on. There are people
Right.
out here going crazy. People getting killed.
Yeah.
All kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Now the thing about it was that I myself was able to take it upon myself not to have the fear of what are people going to think of me.
See?
See, once again, I'm Matt Ronald from Rolling 20s talking to these people.
See? Talk about that.
So you know what I mean? I'm talking.
You using your power that you do have,
Right.
your influence to do something positive.
Right, exactly. And now I can sit down and talk with them.
And see, I like that because if some of these rappers,
Right.
you know what I'm saying, and people that have a lot of influence over other people will use their power to do something positive, we can start some solutions and get to a
Right.
better neighborhoods, better life
Better
for our
way.
children because it's not about us. We got kids, grandkids, and great grandkids that's gonna be coming up and everything. So it's about like we have to do better, huh?
We have to do better. We got to always
have to
think
do
about
better.
we've never done enough. Because, we got to think the life we live now don't belong to us. It belongs to the
Talk
people
about
that we brought here. So,
See?
we got to take into consideration the fact that for each and every person, child, grandchild, everybody, right? We got to think about what are we leaving them? What's the legacy?
What's the legacy?
You know what I mean? What is the fate of the world that we're gonna leave them?
See.
We all got to do our best in order to create good people. But to create good people, you got to do good things because they got to see what you're doing. You can't sit back and tell a kid about doing good. That's like
if
telling
they
your
see you
kid go to
doing
college
bad-
and you got a 6th grade education.
See,
You tell your kid go to college, they looking at you like well, you
or
ain't
you
go to
tell your
college.
kids don't pick up a cigarette, but you steady puffing.
Yeah, and see, as parents, we have. I'm gonna show you a funny thing. Me and my son. All right, I was on my son about going to school, right? And he was around the house doing nothing. So I said, man, you need to go to school. Yeah. I'm gonna go to school. This and this. So I myself, before I was in the intervention, before I actually got employed by the mayor's office of gang reduction and development, I was just working my night job. I was just driving trucks. And at the same time, you know what I mean, I wasn't doing too much of nothing in the day. I sleep all day, right?
Yeah.
So I enrolled in Abe Freeman's Occupational Center. I was I'm actually by trade I am an A+ computer technician.
You go ahead on,
So,
family. Boy, right on.
I was,
see, I'm telling you, I ain't heard none of this at the family gathering, but you deep with it, right?
Yeah, well that's my thing. But the thing was like, okay, I was getting at my son and trying to make him do something, right?
Yeah.
So I just went and did this, jumped in school. After went on after about a year of debate. Me and him, after he got out of high school, graduated, because he graduated. I know his potential.
Awesome.
And I know that he got the capabilities to be something. I don't want him to sit around and waste his talents. So the thing about it was that I was in school, and I jumped in school. So, I'm not even talking to him about what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But he recognizes what I'm doing. One day he comes to me and he say, man, I just checked in school. And, he's not telling me he checked in school, let me know, but he's letting me know I need your assistance with something because I just enrolled in school and this is what I want to do. So from there, I saw the fact that it wasn't about me talking about it. I had to be about it.
You have to be about it.
Now
yes.
he's going to follow my example, and he's going to jump in school and do whatever he's doing, wherever he's doing it at. And as parents, that's an obligation that we
That's
must
our
fulfill.
obligation.
Because, like I say, it's like having a 6th grade education, trying to influence your child to go to college.
See?
That's kind of complicated because your child's going to look at you and he's going to say, well, look how many things you did from 12 years old to 48 years old, and you ain't touched a college class.
See, and they want to see, actually.
Yes, they wanna
and
see.
so, Ronald, just like how we sitting up here talking about that, actually the media, TV, and different shows, they have that type of influence also over our children, right?
Yes,
so
they do.
that's why they really have to see it in-house,
Right.
positive,
Right.
because they have all this other negative, and if they don't see it in-house positive, it's very hard for them to try to go the positive way.
Yes,
It's
it
really,
is.
really hard. Because like you just said, he heard you saying something, but he wanted to see you doing school also.
Right.
He want to be like, shoot, if Daddy, if you ain't gonna do it,
Right.
I ain't gonna do it. But Daddy, if you do it, I could do it.
Right, exactly, and that's exactly what it became.
Man, that is so awesome, man. I am so excited that you are doing that because it's needed, right?
Yeah, well, the funny thing is, I was in school for 2 years. My son's still in school right now. He was in school since way back then. He's been in school for but he's a part-time student, so
Wow.
he hasn't worked out a degree yet or anything, but he's been in school for over the past 2 years.
Awesome. See, and that's what I'm saying. You know, and it's funny though because, I didn't raise my children. They grown and out the way now, and all of them in college. And like my son, he has struggles through school, right?
Yes.
But my son did it anyway. God, I don't know. I'm just saying God is good. He worked it out.
Right.
My son got to go to, he's at Grambling and he's living on the college dorm. And,
Right.
He's doing it. And, Jaylyn, is she up there in Bakersfield. And Kim, she already did the master's already and stuff. But I actually was going back and forth to school part-time as I was raising them so they could see me actually doing it also.
Right. and
So
that's
when you
great.
say that I understand what you say, when the kids have to see, they don't want to just hear you talk about it, they want to see you actually doing it.
They want to see you doing it. And
Yeah.
that's a wonderful thing right there, what you said, because of the fact that that's 3 productive, prosperous black people that you're speaking of when you speak of their children like that.
Amen.
And I mean, you think about it, in life, those are contributors. Because,
Amen.
see, we ourselves have to make our contributions to society, and everybody
See.
has to do that.
See.
And those are great contributors, because just listen to the institutions of education that you're speaking of.
Yeah.
That means that they really, really, really value their education.
They value education, and I'm so happy because, like I said, I did have struggles with my son. I was thinking that maybe he wasn't, because he wanted to go to college. When we dropped Jaylyn off, Ricky was one to go to, and when we dropped Kimmy off, Ricky was one to live that college dream too, but I didn't know how it was going to happen because of the grades, right? Man, Rick is doing A's and B's and no less than a C right now.
Right.
And he's doing plays out there, and he's out of town somewhere, never been out of town, nowhere. And my son is becoming the man that God called him to be, right?
Right.
And I've been a single mama, you know what I'm saying? Well, mostly, in and out of marriages, but I still been a single parent, right?
Right.
But it's possible. Anything is possible if you don't give up, right?
Right, exactly.
If you don't give up. And I love the fact that you know who you are now.
Right.
And you're doing positive things for the neighborhood because, like I said, I looked at a few of the comments that people was leaving, and they very proud. I could tell they really proud of you, too.
Right.
And I'm proud, too. I'm proud to be in the family, right? Because you are definitely doing a lot of positive stuff for the neighborhood.
I work hard.
And you so smart, man. They need to have you. That's why I'm so glad you came on the show because, because I've been telling you for how long to come on the show? About 2 or 3 months now?
Been some months now, because I remember initially when, oh my gosh, was it 6 months ago?
It's been I started the show in August. So
Well,
I think
maybe
about a
about-
month after I started the show.
About 6 months ago. It's
Yeah,
March.
exactly. I definitely want you to come on the show because I didn't ask Marie, I didn't ask Naisha and stuff. And I'm like, okay, you know what? Whoever come on the show, come on the show.
Right.
But when you got back at me and said, okay, where's the show and where's it located? I'm like, dang, that is cool
Right.
because I like people that's doing stuff. And this is a platform to expose what you're doing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
People need to hear this.
Right, right.
People need to hear this because this is encouraging somebody right now.
Well, I'm working on. I look at life. I always got to be doing something. I mean, in reality, I gain inspiration. I'm gonna tell you something that's interesting. Something that I gain inspiration, right? And I feel in life, right? I know you wrote a book.
Yeah.
And I myself personally, I take that as an honor to meet people that have made contributions like this.
Wow.
Because you know what I see, like when I speak of greatness, I don't see greatness as a movie. I don't see greatness as a song. I see greatness as being able to go to the library and pull this person's book off a shelf.
Awesome.
Because of the fact that that's something that'll be around forever. That's something that the kids will learn from.
Awesome.
You know, the lessons that are taught, we got to find ways to pass them on. I'm working on my own book right now, the Gangland Manifesto.
Wow, Ronald,
at the same
this is gonna
time,
be nice.
Yeah, at the same time, you know what I mean? It is like, I this exposure that I have, I know quite a few people that have written books.
Right.
And my exposure to these people is funny because when you read a book and you interpret people one way, But when you meet them, it's another thing. And then when you know them,
See,
it's something else.
it's something else, right?
Yeah, I mean, you look up, you be like, wow. Because of the fact that, I mean, it's so much in a book. You know what I mean?
It's so much in the book.
And I gain a lot of inspiration from things like that. You know what I mean? I remember I think Naisha told me that your book was published. And I was like, wow, that's because, I mean, that is one of, I believe that's one of the greatest contributions because of the fact that when you give it to a child, right?
Yeah.
You can talk to them about it, you can show them a movie, but there's nothing in the world like reading it because they can read it over and over again and it'll be a different story each time they read it.
And
each
you
time
know what's
it'll
so
be
funny
inspirational.
about that? All of the family was so supportive.
Right.
Like even my brothers and sisters and Naisha, everybody was buying the book, right? So then I had Ronald, I had everybody calling me like, Gail, this really happened. Gail, our daddy was a pimp. Gail, it was so much. Everybody was calling me because they didn't know what I was going through out there on the streets when I was on drugs. They didn't know. And like how you said about the drug thing, either you was selling it, smoking it, or you was affected by it. And even if you was smoking it, your family was affected because they were sitting back praying that I would come home safely. Because I was gone for 4 years.
Right.
I don't know if you knew that, but I was gone 4 years. I was out there. You know what I'm saying?
But the thing about it is that you take into consideration.
Nice.
See, I'm gonna show you something that goes with drug addiction. People must take into consideration mental illness goes along with that, just the same as disassociation.
Talk about that, Ronald.
Suddenly you start to change and become someone else, and you don't want to be around your family. See, when I remember selling drugs, and I remember dealing with different people, I remember being a psychiatrist.
See?
I remember not only being a dope man, I remember I was a psychiatrist. And I said, because I'm the type of person that if people are right with me, I don't judge people by what they do.
Exactly.
I mean, in the world, everybody's going through something, and we can all judge each other for whatever it is, and we can find reasons to judge. But at the same time, I will sit down and want to know, what is it that brings you into this? I met a man once, and me and this man was having a conversation, and a smart dude. I mean, the dude was extremely intelligent. I would talk to him, and I said, this dude got the capability to do anything or be anything he wanted to be in the world. I'm looking at him like, he was probably twice my age, and I'm like, what is it? He's telling me how he owned homes and all this here.
Yeah.
The man was telling me, he said, man, he told me that he actually watched his family die in a fire. He said that he himself, seeing this here, he said that he wished that he had died with them because that was all that he loved. He just didn't have the nerve to take his own life, so he chose to die slowly. So I'm sitting there talking to the man, and I'm just amazed because everybody has a story. Everybody is going through something, but it's not like people just picked up drugs, and sometimes you had something that might have pushed you out of the household. That you might have been going through, and this might have been something you found as comfort. This might have been something that wasn't even comfortable, but it became something that became habitual.
Right.
Because the people, when you chose to find these people to be around that don't know nothing about you, that aren't judging you, they out doing stuff and they hiding out too.
See?
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Because I did hide from my family for like 4 years. I was like on 39th and in Normandy, and I got family that over there that kind of like, not family, but they took me in as family. And basically, I was 4 years. You know what I'm saying? My family didn't see me that much.
Right. But
my brother would come looking for me. So he would come over there sometime looking for me, my brother Wayne, because the family wanted to know, was I alive?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? My sister told me that my mom and them used to sit back and pray that when, remember when the Night Stalker and all these...
Yeah, Richard Ramirez.
Yeah, Richard Ramirez. They was praying for me that it wasn't my body that they found.
Right.
And when I was driving down the hill, Ronald, and I was like, you know what? When I think about where I came from, right? Little girl walking down the street with her dad, the vacant house, and my dad did what he did to me because he was sick. He was mentally ill, right? And he did what he did to me, so he pushed that mental illness on me.
Right.
I went to the streets, but thank God I broke that curse.
Right.
Because that family generational curse is broke forever. It will never happen again.
That's important. That's very. And I'm gonna show you what's important, what's interesting, right? It's like how you and I tell these stories and they coincide, right? As I speak of being the drug dealer, you speak of being a drug user, but ain't it funny how you inspire me?
See? But guess what? After I smoked the drugs, I sold them for a while too because I was just selling drugs just a little bit because then I had the little connection and stuff. But guess what? I couldn't even really do it that good because I was like, I always felt sorry for people.
That's right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because I came from that, so I felt sorry for people. So it was hard for me to even try to be. But I was just like paying some bills. You know what I'm saying?
Right, I understand.
So I did that part too. You know. I did a lot, man. That's why I said when I was coming down the hill today, and I was just like thanking God because I'm like, wow, I came from a long ways. Who would have thought a little girl going to the house jacked up? I was just messed up, jacked up, you know, did a lot of stuff. But now I'm prayed up.
Right.
I'm better.
Right.
And now God has given me this platform through Roscoe's Media Center. Thank you for Roscoe Media Center. You know, and Roscoe Chicken and Waffle. Y'all get some Roscoe Chicken and Waffle. But, you know, they gave me a show so I can, like, bring, you know, people to share stories.
Right.
Because that's how you get to solutions. And that's how you get to a positive life. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because you're living a good life right now. You living a positive life right now, and you helping people.
Right.
And hopefully, you know, this show is helping people to understand that, dang, we all been through something.
Yes.
We all been through something. If we could just recognize that.
Yes.
And if like the peace treaty, if we could have a peace treaty, just say all the gangs came together. That would be such a powerful force.
Well, it's the thing about that is that nowadays it's funny because, I mean, it's not like it used to be because nowadays people interact and deal with each other.
They do.
You see what I'm
saying?
Bloods and Crips talk to each other. My coworkers
You see what I'm saying?
in my office, right now, my office, my coworkers are okay. Me and my homeboy from the 20s. We got guys from the 30s that's working in the same office with us, and guys from the 40s that work with us in the same office. And we all interact and deal with each other on a level to where I'm talking about we in public together sometimes. We're all over the place. You know what I'm saying? It's not a situation that this guy's from there, this guy's from there, because of the fact that we've all bonded. And considering the fact the way that we've all bonded, you know, we see something so far beyond this because each one of us are working for the better of our communities. So we can't look at this on a smaller level. See,
that's what I'm talking about.
I always tell people, me myself personally in the neighborhood, right? I'm still from the neighborhood, and I'm still active, but I'm not active in a destructive way. I'm active constructively. You know what I mean? I'm active in a sense of way. I'm active in a sense to where I'm of aid to my community. When I see my people in my community, I have an understanding of what they're going through. And if I'm capable, then I'm capable of being able to assist them. I'm capable of being able, sometimes the assistance might just be just telling somebody something good because they ain't heard nothing but bad stuff all day. Sometimes a person, you know that a typical person goes through life in a day and they deal with so much negativity. The people say, well, you ain't going to be SHIT. You ain't going to be, and they hear that so much, but then it takes one person.
One person.
To say,
Ronald, say that again.
You got the great capability to be whatever you want to be.
Say that again, Ronald.
That's what people will tell you. That, I mean, in the world, negativity, people will constantly tell you that you ain't going to be SHIT.
See?
And they'll tell you that all day long you hear that. But that one person that tells you that you got the capability to be great.
Wow.
They might tell you, look at Barack Obama. This is a black man.
See?
You could be the president. Look at I mean, there's no telling what your capabilities are.
See?
And Barack Obama might just be, don't let that limit you. Just because he's there, you might be able to go farther than what he's going because we don't know what's after that.
See?
So, you know, we just got to be good at what we do.
I like that so much because, believe it or not, I did a show. My mom had passed like in March of last year, right? And I did a show with Melissa. And on the show, Melissa told me, she said, Gail, I feel like you could really be a motivational speaker. And before that, nobody had never really told me that.
Right.
You know, and just those few words that she said, it really touched my life. You know what I'm saying? And then when I come back and then, you know, another person believed in me, Keno, you know, and then the leaders of Roscoe's and stuff, they believed in me. And they was like, yeah, we think you should have a really? That really touched me, right? But it only takes that, like you said, that one person to believe in you.
The inspiration, spark. It just takes that little spark to spark that flame.
Spark.
And I mean, we look at life and you got to, because my view of the world is different when I view people, right? Mm-hmm. And I could look for a million faults, but I've learned in life to look past a person's faults and look for what their needs are.
Yes.
Because of the fact that sometimes if we can suit the needs and meet that with service, then we're capable of being able to create a better person.
Yes, we are, right?
Because as people look, we see a person, you don't know what they're going through at home.
Oh, see, Ronald, see, you know, we family, but you be talking about language, right? Because you said we don't know what they're going through at home, right? So that one little thing that you say to them that might inspire, might just bless their whole life.
Yes, I got a friend that funny too. He reached out to me
Wow.
After years and years,
See,
right?
you know, I know
This guy, he was a friend of mine, lived in the neighborhood, didn't gangbang, grew up in a boys' home, right?
See,
And he told me how, and I didn't even remember this, right? And the guy told me, he said, man, I remember I used to see you in the park. And, you know, he said, you know, even though y'all gangbanged, you never tried to pull me into that. But you always had some good stuff to say.
good stuff to
Because,
see.
you know, and he was one of the little guys that I just recognized as a good little dude that lived in the neighborhood, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But at that time, he told me, man, I was living in a boys' home going through all kind of abuse. You see me in the morning because I had to get up and get out of there, you know, this and this and this and this. And for everything that was going on in my life, you know what I mean? So you one of the only people that always had something good to say.
So you was helping him along the way, and you didn't even know
Didn't even
how
have-
much.
didn't even know.
You was helping him a lot, though.
Right, and didn't even know it. I mean, like I say, it's the things that we never know what we're giving a person. You know, I mean, words mean so much. And the thing about it is
Talk about
that we have to be conscious of what we say to people because once we say it, it's out. And there's no taking it back.
Talk about that. See, Ronald, you know you're going to have to come back, right? You're going to have to come back and do a show, right? Another show, because this is like too interesting. Like, it's like so much to say, right?
Right.
And see, people sometimes they get nervous. They be like, ooh, an hour? I can't talk for an hour. Man, you don't understand how much that hour go by quick. Because we almost there, right? We almost there. And I'm like, oh, my goodness, it's so much to talk about. But you got to come back. You got to promise to come back and do another show.
I promise you I will.
Keep me updated on what's going on in the neighborhood with because you work with Parks and Recs too, right?
No, I work for the Los Angeles Mayor's Office of Gang Reduction and Youth Development. I work
Okay,
and
but
I work
Parks
for
and
Volunteers
Recs-
America. No, I network with the park in my community.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about.
I keep a relationship with the
them.
park there. Like, say for instance, what I do is that when my homies are in the park, right? If they
Right.
want to have a function, I come to the park and I just make sure that everything's okay. I'm gonna
Okay.
come to the park and let them know, you know, okay, we can use the park, but
Okay.
there's not going to be any smoking or drinking. There's going to be children around, so
talk
we have to
about
be
it.
respectable. So the director at the park respects that much and
Right.
say, okay, well, you can go ahead if you're going to be there and you can commit to that. And I give her my word on that much. So
talk
therefore,
about it.
you know what I mean? It keeps a good relationship. Somebody has to do it.
Somebody has to do it.
Yes.
Yeah, so you're doing a lot, man. I am just so proud just knowing that, you know, we both doing some positive things, you know, helping to better the people around us.
Right.
The atmosphere, you know.
Right.
And that's all it takes. Like you said, one word from a person
Yes.
can change your whole life.
Change your whole life.
Because and just belief, somebody having belief in you. Because
Yes.
like you said, when they was gonna give you a job, you was like, who gonna give me a job?
Right.
But that one, what's his name? Skip Townsend.
Skip. He believed.
You said that he came to you and said that you can get a job because you already doing this anyway. You got a passion for it,
Right.
and you was like, "Who gonna give me a job?"
Right.
And the fact that they gave you a job and believed in you, look at you right now.
Yeah, that was in July.
See,
It's March now.
and you're making a big difference in the neighborhood. That
Yeah.
is awesome.
Doing my best.
You doing it, ain't you? You ain't just trying, but you actually doing it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm so glad to know because we need that. We need more Ronalds. You know what I'm saying? We need more Ronalds to be out there and just be like, you know, look, talk to the youngsters, you know, make a difference in their life and try to help them to go in a positive way because they are going to be the people that's going to be under us when we older, right?
Yes.
So we probably need to help our young people as much as we can.
As much as we can, yes.
Because, you know, they're going to be the ones that when we older, like 80, 90 years old, that's who going to be leading the country.
Well, you know what my thing is? I look at our leaders, and they always talk about, like, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King. But I said, we got leaders yet to be born. And we play such an important role in shaping and creating these leaders that we got
Such
to
an
understand the
important
messages that we send. Subliminally, you know, just who you are and how you speak. That right there shapes and transcends to the next person to the extent to where this person might want to emulate you and might want to read books and learn how to talk like you, walk like you, and do what you do.
Talk about it. And above all things, like you said, know yourself. You know what I'm saying? Now you know yourself. Now I know myself. The name of the book, Not Afraid to Tell Who I Was because I know who I am, right? But guess what? Not only that, knowing yourself, but you actually got to just, you actually got to just know that you are great.
Yes,
and that
you
even though somebody can tell us and influence us, we have to have faith in our own self too.
Yes.
And know that we can do great things and we can make a change. And once we come into that realization, it's so awesome, right?
Yes, it is.
Because then you know the power that you have and the influence that you have over people. So you have to really watch what you say.
Yes, you do. You have to watch what you say
Yeah.
because you can, just as well as you can build a person up, then you can create a person, you can tear a person down.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna wrap it up, you guys. That's all the time our time is out right now. But thank you so much for joining us on I've Been Through It, hosted by Gail Davis. You guys come back every Monday at 4. And thank you so much, Ronald,
You're
for
very
being
welcome.
my guest. And you got to come back. He's gonna come back, you
will.
guys. You guys, beautiful people, have a blessed day. All right. Thank you.